Hola to mi clase de nivel 4, a mis amigos de nivel 4. Y ustedes ven que tenemos un amigo aquí hoy. Es una amiga que viene porque este fin de semana va a ser la Pascua. La Pascua. So this is a pollito que recibió una hija mía para la Pascua como hace 2 años. So I thought I would bring this just because it's timely and we have Easter this weekend. So I thought that this was a little cheerful, little cute toy. So anyways, before we start, hope you guys are doing well, staying busy. So I'm going to just talk in general first, as I always do, about grades and keeping up with your work. So, just so you guys know, right now, hola Natalia, you should have submitted to your teachers answers for the novel first. You should have submitted all the way through chapter 7. So for my students, I don't know how this applies to Miss Picente's students, but for those of you guys that are my students, when I checked in your work, for whatever reason, I think because it was Friday's work, some people are missing chapter 5 episode answers. So those should all be submitted. And the other thing that I would mention to you guys is, in order to receive full credit, you have to make sure that you're answering in complete Spanish sentences. So please make sure, like, if the question asks, like, to where did they go, you can't just say, or who were they? You cannot just say the muleteers. You have to make sure you're answering in complete sentences. You should have also submitted the chapters 1 through 4 English summary. And tomorrow, whatever your assignment is, it will be something that will be graded. So just like that Google Forms that you guys took last week, the true false, which is not going to be the case tomorrow, that assignment that you guys do will be graded. All right, hold on, I see. So are the grade books open and we need to do chapter 5. All right, so I haven't entered any grades into the grade book as of yet. I'm going to enter all my grades into the grade book tomorrow. I don't know how that stands for Miss Picente, but I do know, especially for you guys that are enrolled in the dual credit course, we are supposed to be collecting and grading stuff. So my grades will go in the book tomorrow, and that will be for the 4th marking period. 3rd marking period ended as of March 13th, and those grades are due April 15th. So I hope that answers your question. Allie, you said, is it okay that I put my English summary on the same document as my chapter answers? Yes, it's totally fine. I checked that out. I thought you told us just to do the summary for episode 5. No, for the episodes, it's all just for Pablo, for the episode 5, anything for the book is related to the questions. I think episode 5 might have only been 4 questions. So they were actually it was pretty simple. So I'm not going to deduct credit for that because clearly there was a miscommunication based on the amount of work I checked in. So just answer those questions for chapter 5 and send them to me, Pablo. I won't take off credit. Okay? All right, so we are, you guys talked about chat through episode 5 with Miss Picente on Tuesday, and you guys sent your answers back to me. And Dorgarita, are we having a quiz for this week on top of the video? Well, Dorgarita, what I'm going to say to you is it's possible that the two might be related. That's what I'm going to say. You're a forward thinker, girlfriend. That's what I'm going to say. Okay? So, you'll get that assignment tomorrow morning, but I think you might be onto something there if that answers your question at all. Okay? All right, so here we are. We were on chapter 6, And so he runs into this guy, Juan Faludo, and unfortunately something not good is happening. And so que hacía Juan Faludo, right? Azotaba Andres. So he was beating his servant, unfortunately, right? And then Don Quixote comes in, and he, in his mind, he frees Andres o la Patricia. So here's the question. ¿Cree usted que Don Quixote liberó en realidad a Andrés? This is your opinion. Do you really think that he freed Andrés based on what you saw in the book, what you saw in the movie yesterday that you watched 5 through 7? That would be your opinion. My opinion, of course, would be no, because of what happens after, right? ¿Qué habría hecho usted? Okay, that has some complex grammar in there. What would you do, or what would you have done? So, would you have helped out? Would you have stepped away? What would you have done? We're looking for a personal answer there, okay? ¿Qué hizo entonces el faldudo? Right? Volvió a azotar a Andrés con mayor furia. So, Don Quixote comes in, and I'm just reminding you guys, we're talking about this, going over this, because there's an end game here. So, Don Quixote comes in, he sees this guy beating his servant, he makes a big stink about it, and he then leaves, and El Faldudo is more angry and ends up essentially, unfortunately, beating his servant even worse. And then, ¿cree usted que Don Quixote dejó las cosas mejor o peor? Do you think he left things worse or better? Well, I would say he probably left things worse, because he ended up beating the servant even worse than he had originally been beating him. Okay? So, then we went to episode 7, right? He's on the road. After 2 miles, he comes across something, right? Que vio Don Quixote después de 2 millas. And vio una multitud de gente. So he saw a whole bunch of people, a multitude of people. Okay? And what does he say to the people? He says, well, he wants them to admit that Dulcinea is the most beautiful woman in the world. Only they don't really know what she looks like. So, who were they? Right? ¿Quiénes eran? Eran vendedores de seda de Toledo. So, they were silk vendors from Toledo. Toledo is a city, not super, super far from La Mancha, but far enough. Que le pidió a Don Quixote el vendedor socarrón. Well, that's a great word, right? That meaning sarcastic. So, this guy says to Don Quixote, well, hey, listen, if you want me to confess that she's so beautiful, I want to see a picture of her. Only you have to remember, this is a very old novel, right? And this was not something you could just take out the phone. So he actually asked for a pintura, a painting. And then if you watch the video, he asked for a retrato, which is also a painting. So, why does he get mad, right? What happens? Why does he end up, why does Don Quixote get mad? Because of the fact that the vendedor, who is very sarcastic, basically implies that Dulcinea is unattractive, right? He's talking about how, right, le mana sufre de los ojos, like, the way that she looks is so unattractive that she's literally emanating like sulfur from her eyes. And Don Quixote, intimates that no, she's more a beautiful amber, which is, of course, a precious gemstone. So, ¿qué les pasó a Don Quixote y Rocinante? What happens with them, right? When they go to attack these silk vendors, he ends up tripping, and Don Quixote falls on the floor. And then he, of course, blames Rocinante for the entire incident. Okay? ¿Qué le hizo al caído un criado furioso? Well, right? Un criado furioso le molió a palos. So by the end of this whole thing, Don Quixote is on the ground. He has initiated, or instigated, I think is a better word, this issue with these people who were simply going to sell their silk, and one of their servants stays behind and ends up basically beating him into a situation where he's injured. Okay? So you guys that are here for level 4, is there anything that you've read or watched that you don't understand? If you are all okay, just give me a thumbs up. What do you think? Is this difficult or not so much? You feeling all right with the work? Gracias, Lupe. Gracias, Angelica. Gracias, Dorgarita. Patricia. ¿Dónde están los chicos? Esta es mi pregunta. ¿Dónde están? Pienso que salieron. I think they left. Alright, so you guys, at this point, you know, that brings us, like, we're all caught up at this point. You know that you should be keeping an eye on Miss Picente's webpage. I actually have a meeting with her after this, that we're talking on a regular basis about how to keep up with the work. So, para mí es un poco difícil. That's all right, Juan. It is a little bit difficult. I agree that it's a little bit difficult. I mean, the one thing that's really nice is that you can look up the words that you don't know. And I think it's the book itself is kind of a little bit, like, the concept of the book is definitely something that is nonsensical. So it makes sense that it's difficult. What I would say to you, Juan, is this. The video itself, I've watched the video and it goes fast. So make sure you do the reading first, because the reading offers you context with the video. And I was working on a one-to-one session with somebody before I came onto this, and she was saying to me, she said it's a bit campy, like it's a bit dated for the 70s, which of course it is, and it's kind of amusing in that regard. But you don't have to understand every word. You just want to get the general concept of what's happening. But I think you're right, Juan. It is a bit difficult. It is a bit difficult. But that's, you know, that's one of the things about being a college student, because that's what you guys are at this point, you know, that you're a college student for this. So if you're not understanding something, the other thing I would say to you is make sure you email me and ask me questions. I've been working with several people via email and or by Google Meet, just the two of us or whatever. Hola, Jesus. Hola, house.4. So if you guys don't have any questions, you want to make sure that you're referring to Miss Picente's webpage. For those of you guys that are my students, what I would say to you is keep an eye on your email. I'm planning to, tomorrow afternoon with my class, my 4s, to do a Google Meet. Okay? So the point of that Google Meet really is not even, I mean, we'll do some Spanish too, but I really would just like to touch base with you guys and see how you're doing and see all your smiles. So, any questions, you guys? Any problems? Thoughts? Got it. I miss Spanish class too, Juan. I do. It was a good class. It is a good class. Will be a good class. Who knows, right? Every day. Alright, good, Dorgarita. Hope you're staying busy, Dorgarita. Anybody else? We feeling pretty good? Staying active? Catching up on TV shows? Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to log off then, and I hope you guys are doing well. And, oh, gracias, Angelica. And, Angelica, keep an eye on your email. I want to ask you something. All right, so, check it out, and I'll see you on our next run, and wait for details tomorrow morning from your teacher. All right, hasta luego.